So now we are going to program the game so that when the player touches this spawn location, then he'll be stuck in first person perspective mode. And then by the time he jumps over all of these long jump platforms and lands on this second base plate, that's when he'll be set back to regular mode where he can look at third person if he wants. So how do we do that? Well, of course, we're going to have to put an on touch on this spawn location 7. So I'm going to right click and say insert object script. And then here I do need to I do need the part. So let's do local spawn location is equal to script.parent. And then I need to put a touch listening event on the spawn location. So I want to say spawn location dot touched connect to on touch, and I need to define that method. So function on touch, and then parentheses, and I want to say touched part. All right. So now that we're here, what we want to do is get the player. Okay, and so there's different ways we can get the player. If you look at some back scripts, maybe over here in the module script, you can see that we got the player by doing this, right? But there's various ways of doing it, and here's another way of doing it. Okay, you could say this right here. And if you're not aware of devform.roblox.com, it's just a place where everyone can ask questions about how to do different things in Roblox, and you'll find tons of answers to your questions there. So let's come back over here, and this is what we're going to do is create a local player variable, and we're going to do game.players, get player from character, and we're going to do touched part.parent. Okay, and so how does that how does that work? Well, let's go ahead and run the game so we can see the player in the workspace. Alright, so let's say that the foot touches the spawn location. That means it's going to run this function. Touch part is the foot, and this get player game.players is a service, and it gets the player from character. So this touched part is the foot, and let's say we're this guy here, then we're giving the get player from character the parent of the foot, right? So here's the foot. The parent is the dlee smusd that's in workspace, and that is the character. Okay, and so this function here will give back the player given that its parent is a character. So then player is equal to my dlee smusd. But let's say that it was like a block that was in the workspace that touched the spawn location. Okay, let's say it was this part right here that touched the spawn location. Well, then it would run on touch. This would be that part there, that little block. Then the part's parent would be this level 1 folder, and that is not a character. So then this function would not return anything. Okay, so player is either equal to the player or it's equal to nothing. Okay, so there we go, we got the player. And now what? Well, we want to stick him in first person mode, and so the way that you could do that is let's go ahead and we got it right here. So these two lines of code are what we're going to be using for this functionality. Alright, so what you can do is you could say player.camera mode, and you could set it equal to enum classic, or you could say player.camera mode and you could set it to lock first person, right? And so so what does that mean? Well, if I look right here under the character, one thing I forgot to explain is this get player from character. It's given this character here, but it returns this player here. Okay, so then this player here is this guy that's under the players folder. That's why we need to do the game.players service here that runs get player from character. So this function is given this guy, and it returns this guy. And we do need this guy because some of the properties of the player are here, set here, right? Like if you want to set the walk speed, you could use the character. You could use the character's humanoid, and you could set the walk speed to be a faster walk speed. Or if you want to set the jump to be higher, you could do that here in humanoid in the character. But there are other properties that can only be set here in the player. Okay, so that's why we need to use this to get the player from the character. And then one of those properties is the camera setting. So if you look here under the properties, let's see, where's camera mode? Okay, right here. Right now it's classic, but we could set it to lock first person, and that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, so then if we touch the first spawn location, we want to do that. Okay, and while I'm here, I'm just going to copy all of this because we're going to need it for the other spawn location. So I'm going to copy all of that. And then that's what we want to do. We want to lock it to first person. And then when we, let me stop this. And then when we touch that spawn location way out there, which I believe is spawn location number 8. Nope. Spawn location number 9. Yes. That's when we want it to unlock, right? So we're going to right click, script, paste this in, and we want to set it back to classic. Alright, so now that we're here, we want to go ahead and test it out. And so I'm going to warp to spawn location 7, and I'll do that by setting my team color to black and testing to see if it really does force my perspective to be first person. And then I'm going to replay it and set it to spawn location number 9. Oh, so it's not working, is it? So camera mode is not a valid member of player. Alright, so it looks like what I did is misspelled camera. So I'm going to come back over here, and right here, camera, I missed the A. Here it does have the A, so I should be good now. Let's go ahead and play this. There we go, stuck in first person mode. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and test the other. Well, let's test the other spawn location. And I guess the only way to really test it is to go through the map. Alright, so maybe I can let you go ahead and do that, and just let me let you know the way that I would do it is I would play it over here, which would lock the camera in first person, and then I would set the gravity of the player of the workspace. So go ahead and click on workspace, set the gravity to 8, and then jump over to here, and then jump over to here, 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 and here. And once you land on this one, it should unlock your first player perspective mode using this script here back to classic, and you'll be able to see them from third person. And if it doesn't, then there's something wrong with your script here, and you need to go back and take a look at it. Okay, so I'll let you go ahead and do that, and I'll assume that that's done and tested.